Clint Eastwood's Best Picture winning Million Dollar Baby is not a story about boxing, but a story about a boxer and her mentor. The boxing is never the driving force of the plot, like it is in so many sports films. What pushes the film forward is the characters, their developing relationships, and their ever-shifting morality that shapes how they see the world. The structure of this film reflects this, as the climax is not a climactic fight between two rivals, but the pivotal moment in the protagonist, Frankie Dunn's, development, where he must make one of the biggest choices of his life, whether to assist in the suicide of his student, Maggie Fitzgerald. It's a moment that the film spends its entire runtime building towards. When the audience first meets Frankie in the opening scenes of the film, it is evident that he loves boxing and is extremely religious, going to Mass every day and praying every night. While Frankie might have difficulties comprehending aspects of the Catholic faith, he finds a great deal of comfort in religion. Frankie is a man consumed by regret. He regrets not prematurely ending his best friend Scrap's final fight that led to the loss of said friend's eye, and he has regrets about the relationship with his daughter that fell apart years prior to the film. For Frankie, the daily Mass allows for him to feel like he has some control over his regrets. Father Horvath even comments on this when he says,
"Frankie, I've seen you at Mass almost every day for 23 years. The only person who comes to church that much is the kind who can't forgive himself for something."
There's an irony to this character. Frankie is known as the best cut man in the boxing business, and yet he is unable to tend to his own emotional and psychological scarring. Frankie's story is about him trying to reconcile with the mistakes of his past through various methods. His second chance as a manager and a father comes in the form of the ambitious young boxer Maggie Fitzgerald. At first, Frankie resists training her, but reluctantly takes her on after realizing her potential. Maggie represents Frankie's chance to finally cease his regret. He has a new boxer to manage and a new daughter figure to coach. He can amend his past mistakes. The two form a father-daughter relationship where they care for each other and push each other to have the best life possible. The two are extremely close and often tell stories about the time before they met. They each fill the missing piece in each other's lives. Frankie is the father that Maggie lost, and Maggie is the daughter that Frankie lost. Frankie even refers to Maggie as his daughter, with the boxer nickname that he gives her, Macushla, being Gaelic for, my daughter, my blood. On a technical level, the film is great, and uses its cinematic techniques to enhance the plot and the characters. The film is not edited with the rapid cutting of an action movie, or does not have the kinetic shots and exaggerated performances of a Tarantino film. Million Dollar Baby is subdued. Eastwood lets performances breathe and holds shots longer than most directors. The color palette is muted, and many scenes utilize the darkness of shadows. The lighting and the cinematography are realistic. In many films, a car remains brightly lit throughout a scene. In Eastwood's vision, natural lighting is used, and the characters in the car are only lit when they cross under street lamps. This style of acting, editing, coloring, directing, and cinematography gives the film a realistic and authentic feeling. Even the musical score, composed by Eastwood himself, is ambient and unintrusive, adding to the tangibility of the film's world. The realism of the world and the father-daughter relationship between Frankie and Maggie is what makes the third act of the film so heartbreaking. There's a bluntness to the deterioration of Maggie.
They took my leg, boss.
The audience can see it happening, just as the characters can. It's inevitable and unavoidable, and it places the audience in Frankie's point of view, as he watches the pain and the suffering that Maggie attempts to endure. Maggie proposes the ultimate moral question for Frankie, whether he should assist in her suicide. He is torn between the two options. At first he resists because he doesn't want his new daughter to leave his life, but also because he is a man of Catholic faith, and assisting in Maggie's suicide would be considered a sin. In the end, Frankie agrees to euthanize his student. The choice breaks Frankie. We don't know what happens to Frankie at the end of the film. He could be in the diner, reflecting over a slice of lemon pie, or he could have killed himself with the second, unused, vial of adrenaline. Million Dollar Baby is not a boxing movie but a morality play that examines a man who is lost and consumed by regret, being forced to decide between personal desire, what he believes to be right, and the teachings of the Catholic faith.